My journey into motherhood has been a journey of personal growth. Each pregnancy, I had, different feelings and emotions, and I was at different stages in my life, which shaped my experiences. From having my older child, Kobe, in high school at such a young age, being Nigerian, I faced a lot of challenges emotionally, not really physically, because when you're young, it's quite easy to carry. And then later on in life, being married and having 2 kids, it was just a total different experience, all in all. Yeah, so with my son, Kobe, my older son, because like I said, I was younger, it was one of the darkest times in my life because I definitely felt like a failure, that I let my family down and different things like that. But physically, it wasn't as challenging. And then with my 2 youngest, it had its ups and downs, most definitely. Thankfully, I had a youth church that I was going to and a youth pastor who was actually a licensed therapist. And she really just showed me that God had a bigger plan for me and that this wasn't the end of my life. And so being able to lean to God, I was able to get to that pregnancy and my other pregnancies. It just showed me that life would be okay. Funny enough, I really did have positive labor experiences, honestly, because my first pregnancy, I was young. Every time I would go to the doctor, I was quite ignorant, so I was so scared. And I would be like, oh, am I gonna die? Well, actually, not ignorant, because a lot of Black women do die during child labor. They don't have childbirth rather, they don't have anyone to really advocate for them. So at a young age, I learned that I needed to be able to speak up for myself and advocate. And so every time I was at my doctor appointments, I was asking a lot of questions. And I remember my mom bought me a book called Supernatural Childbirth. And I took this book and I read it throughout all pregnancies. Any of my girlfriends and family members, I always gift them this book. It's called Supernatural Childbirth by Jackie Mize. I hope I'm saying her name right. And basically what she went through was they believed her to be barren, like she would never be able to have children. And not only did she believe God that she would have children, but she believed God that she would give birth like the Hebrew women did, with ease. Not that there would be no challenges, but she believed that she would be able to do so. And not only did she give birth to 1 child, but I think she gave birth to like 2 or 3 children. And it just taught me that going into labor, I always looked at it as the war room. So I've always prepared myself physically. My mom at a young age was having me working out, exercising, eating good. I mean, obviously you still have your pregnancy cravings. I was still enjoying it, but I was intentional. I had, I went to Lamaze, is it Lamaze? I think it's called Lamaze, but they basically just kind of prep you for your childbirth and everything like that, the breathing exercises. So I was very intentional. So when I came into labor, I already knew what I was coming into. That was like the worst pain of my life, but I had my birthing plan. All my pregnancies were natural, no epidural, and so I'm super proud of that. And but it was very challenging and hard. And my last delivery rather with my daughter was the most challenging, because I guess I would definitely not guess, because I'm older. And then my labor was induced, so I was feeling the contractions, because when your labor is induced, the contractions come closer together. So that was something that was like, whoa, what's going on? The doctor even came in like, baby, there's pain and there's suffering, take the epidural. And I was like, no, I got it. And at the point where I felt like I wanted to take the epidural, she's like, it's too late, it's time to push now. So I never really experienced having to do any like epidural or anything like any assistant. Everything was natural, but it was because I actually had a game plan. Immediately you hold your child, amnesia, at least for me, because you're finally experiencing this beautiful being that you really were growing with all these 9 months. And it's just an emotional feeling, just being able to hold your child in your hand and just be like, my baby. And no one can love you like your children love you. And just that look of, they trust you with their whole entire life. Like, what do you mean I'm somebody's mother? Like, what do you mean I have like control over somebody's whole entire world and life? And so it was such a beautiful feeling meeting all my children, something I can never forget. I think every pregnancy, honestly, mentally, it did take a toll on me. But my first one, like I said, it was my darkest experience, because it wasn't anything that was planned and it wasn't anything that people were super excited about. So I had to walk the halls of high school pregnant and just hold my head up high. But inside, I was dealing with a lot. And after after giving birth, I definitely went through postpartum. I feel like I know that I went through postpartum with all three of my children, but because I experienced it with my first child, I knew how to navigate through it, and I knew how to like kind of seek help or pray and just kind of know that these emotions I'm feeling are normal. Because when you're going through postpartum, you're literally feeling like, who is this person? You're looking in the mirror and you don't recognize this girl or woman anymore, because your body has changed, your mindset has changed, and there's a lot of pressure. So yeah, definitely went through postpartum, and it's definitely a mind, I don't know how to explain it. It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. Only support that I had, I wish I had that, because it would have been amazing for me, especially as a young girl. The only support I had, like I said, when I mentioned my counselor in church, to be able to speak to her, but nobody could really relate to what I was going through, or I didn't see much people going through the same things that I was going through. And even later on in life, when I got married and had more kids, there was no such thing around my area or community for like support groups. I just had to kind of lean on my family members. And the thing with leaning on family members or people or friends around you, they're not all experiencing the same things as you. So I definitely didn't have the support. Wish I had it. That's why I'm just so inspired by what Motivational Moms Club is doing, because it's definitely a need. I think that it's very important, number one, because of the mental health. If you have people that you can relate around you, they're going to be able to be like, oh, I went through this. This is how I was able to navigate through this, or this is how I dealt with this, and just different resources. They're giving you the different resources that you need, and just being able to come in a safe space. Like being a Black woman, I keep going back to that. We need people to advocate for us, and there's not a lot of people that are doing this for Black women. Black women are dying during childbirth because we're being labeled as too emotional, too strong, exaggerating. They think that we exaggerate our pain. And so having a support group, something like Motivational Moms, if I had that, that would have been so key to knowing like I'm not alone, knowing I have that support, and it's a safe space. Because you feel, if you're labeled as a Black woman, not if, we are always labeled as a Black woman as strong, aggressive, angry women. But if other Black women are seeing it like, no, this is not what it is, you're gonna take a step back and be like, okay, I'm okay to be who I am. I'm okay to say the things that I'm feeling, and I'm not gonna be judged for it. So it's very important. Even though health workers, they go to school and they're educated on, facts and different things like that, some things they're not aware of. They don't see what Black women are truly going through. For example, I was diagnosed with hyperemesis, and I was told, every doctor that I was going to, explaining them what I was going through, I couldn't hold any water down, I couldn't eat anything, I couldn't smell anything, and they were just feeling like it was just morning sickness. And they kept telling me, just drink a ginger ale, just take some lemon. I was like, no, this is deeper than what it was. And when I was finally able to go to a doctor, and I believe it was even a Black woman that was diagnosed me, and was like, how are you doing this? I lost 15 pounds in a week. I was at risk to lose my child. And what hyperemesis is, basically your hormones are heightened and the nausea is heightened. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And having that education to be able to teach people what Black women go through, and it's not only Black women that actually even go through hyperemesis, but it's a thing that we're not listened to, we're not heard. And having someone to educate these people on educate healthcare workers on what we're going through, it's very vital. So, yeah. I would say that you're not alone, and you deserve to feel heard. You deserve to be well rested and taken care of, and it is normal, and it's not the end of the world. It's just the beginning of a beautiful life for you. And the best thing to do is to lean on your God, lean on the support that you do have, or seek support. Don't be ashamed to speak up and seek support. I would tell her that it's gonna be okay. Wow, this makes me emotional whenever I think about my younger self, because seeing myself now in the light that I see myself, I believe that I am truly the woman that God has called me to be. And I am so proud of myself, and I would tell myself that you're not a failure, you're gonna be okay, and life is beautiful on the other side.
Oh, I didn't mean to cry.
And to Motivational Moms, thank you so much for allowing me to tell my story. They're doing amazing work in the UK for Black women, and I can't wait for them to expand internationally. Ask a Mom, how are you? Yay!